Good afternoon everybody, I'm Jill, behind the camera is Roger, and we are Which Way Now? So we've already done a video that introduced you to our camper van, but we had a lot of comments that people couldn't hear because the sound wasn't very good. So since then we've bought a proper microphone and we thought we'd do the video again, as well as a bit of a 3-month review of how we're getting on with him 3 months since we bought him. So a little reminder about some of the things about Henry. So we've got the electricity lead just here. We were told when we looked up, people said that we should have a 25-metre electricity lead. The electricity is next door at the moment, but that's fine, and we haven't really needed that one that long at the moment, but when we go abroad we may well do. We've got the electricity here, and then we've also got the toilet cassette that empties on this side as well. That little grey thing there is the external thing for the heater, and then underneath the loo cassette is the grey water emptying, which is actually, this is the 7th time we've been out in Henry, or 7th weekend we spent in Henry, and we've only emptied the water cassette once, so that's really good. And then round the back door here, and we've got where we store all the stuff. Here we've got our chairs, and this side we've got our table in the bag. The chairs are just inside. In there is the gas canister for cooking, and in there we've also got things like our chocks and that kind of thing, and the water hose, and we've got our barbecue for this weekend as well. That is actually surprisingly big, that compartment there, so that's quite nice for storing bits and pieces in, as we're finding. Although what we have found as well is that twice now the gas has gone off, because we think that when we've been driving along it's jiggled around and turned things off in there. So you do need to be quite careful about what you store in there. It does say don't store anything other than the gas bottles, but I'm sure most people probably do. So we've got the chairs and the tables here. And on this side we've got the water hose inlet, and we've got our external thing for a gas barbecue as well, which we've never used yet, but we still need to get the connectors for that. Oh, and you might be able to see there's skylights on the roof that are open. It's quite warm at the moment, and so we've got our skylights open, and we've also got a full awning as well, which we've tried a couple of times. It's very easy to put out, which is great, and we do need to get some tie-down straps for it though to make sure it's completely secure in the high winds. So now we're going to go inside Henry. Unfortunately, you can see on the outside it's got a little bit of what was termed vegetation rash from brushing past very close bushes in Devon and Cornwall recently. He has a great little electric step, which is fantastic, and also lots and lots of mozzie nets. So we've used this a lot this weekend already. We're camped by a river. There's quite a lot of mosquitoes and flies, so this is a mozzie net for the big door here, which is great, and all the windows have mozzie nets, which is fantastic. So if we go in fact, before we go in, there's something you should see, which is our fridge. Because our fridge is very clever, because you can open it from the outside, or you can open it from the inside, because it's actually hinged 2 ways, which we think is remarkably clever. Now we've also got cooking stuff here, so there's a little hob here, a little 2-ring gas hob, which is more than enough. That's all we've had when we've been camping before, so that's more than enough for us. And then we've also got, we've also got a little sink, which is great, and it's got washing up liquid and things like that in it. We've also got quite a few plug sockets, so this is where we often plug in the electric kettle, and we've got my watch charging there as well. And then up here we've got some food storage, so there's various bits and pieces up there, including the gin obviously, which has to be done. And we spent a long time wondering how to store everything and what to store, but actually these drawers are surprisingly large and capacious. So this one has got in it basically all of the kitchen tools, and it's got knives and cutlery and various bits, matches, graters, all that kind of thing. Obviously you can't do much because there's a sink under there, so you can't have it too tall in that drawer. The next drawer down has in it the plates and the bowls. It's got under there, it's got cloths, tea towels, it's also got chopping boards and our ridge monkey in there as well. And then the bottom drawer has in it the saucepans, as well as various other bits of food that are too tall to go in any other cupboard. So that's another bit of food storage in there as well. And then we've got a tall cupboard, which I'm not sure whether you can really see or not, but there's a tall cupboard down here which has in it cereals and squash and things like that, which is quite good. And it also has our wine glasses in there too. And the only other places we've got food, we've got all of our nibbly bits in there as well. So we've got quite a lot of space for food, which is really good. This is our bed. Fantastic. It's quite tall. There's a lot of storage space underneath, but it's quite tall. You do need a little step to get up on it. But it's great because actually you can lie down. I mean, I'm 5'9", no problem. Roger's 6 foot and he can lie flat on here, which is really good. And then above here we've got our clothes storage, and there's quite a lot. I mean, this one's empty at the moment around the corner here. That one's empty apart from a sheet in there, I think. So we've got lots of room to store stuff. And then we've got laptops and various bits and pieces in there, but they could be packed a lot better as well. And I really like the fact that all of these skylights have mozzie nets on them too, so that stops all the creatures coming in, which is amazing. And then we've also got, and in the corner here, we've also got chargeable points as well, another plug socket, another USB and a USB-C, which is great. We've got our little bathroom here, and there is a shower in there, as well as a loo and a sink. We tend to only use the loo if it's night time, so we've only had to empty it once so far, which is really good. And then underneath where my feet are is where we do a lot of storage of stuff, and we're going to Scandinavia next year, and we think we can probably fit 3 or 4 boxes under there for next year as well. At the moment our barbecue is under there, but because the bed is so high, as long as we strap them down, I don't see any problem with storing 3 or 4 boxes underneath the bed. We've also got a duvet topper on the top here. This is the topper bit here that you can see. It's 5 or 6 centimetres thick, and it does seem to make a really good difference. We sleep very well in here, which is great. So this chair turns round to come and join the other person sitting there, and then this table, if you unclip it at the side here, and then you pull the bottom bit, the table comes up, and if you want to eat, the table folds out like that, which is great. So there's plenty of room. I mean, in theory this is for 4 people, but there's plenty of room for 2, I would say, in here. I wouldn't say it was cosy for, I would say it's very cosy for 4. That's actually very comfy as well. We often, if we're watching TV at night, we put it on there, Roger's laptop on there, and I can sit on there, and Roger sits in the chair here to watch TV. And then up the top here, we've got quite a lot of storage of various bits and pieces. So we've got coats, we've got walking shoes, we've got dirty washing, various bits and pieces up there. Yeah, and then over here, we've got storage of other bits. So these are our essentials. That's essential for me anyway. There's a kettle and an electric kettle in there, and a couple of mugs that are wrapped in J-cloths to stop them rattling. Don't know if you saw that. And then on this side, we've got glasses, and then we've got hot chocolate, and we've got a couple of bags and various Tupperware stuff as well. Unfortunately, the mugs were rattling big time on the way here, but that's because the Devon roads were terrible, weren't they? Let's be honest. And then up here are the control panels for the van. This is the most important one. It shows us how much battery there is, how much living battery there is, how much water there is, that kind of thing. This is the heating and the water system, and this one shows us if there's any gas coming through, which was showing red yesterday because we had a problem, and this now is green, so that shows us the gas. And in the winter it shows us that there's one light on there, so that's kind of if you're in the winter or whatever, that's fine. And that just about sums up the living area in Henry.
So in the back here, as Jill says, we have the table and we have the chairs. So the chairs are very simple. Undo that. And we have 2 chairs. And they're actually very comfy, surprisingly comfy. And both of them have a little table by the side for your beer. Perfect. And the table's a little bit more complicated to get out. You have to kind of wiggle it out, but effectively the table is kept in here.
So one thing I didn't show you before was I showed you where we got some of our food stored, but actually we've also got a secret storage compartment down here. And it's really good because it's at floor level, so it means you can put heavy stuff in it and it's not going to overbalance. So we've got all of our tins and things in here, which is great, and it does mean that it's quite a nice little, it goes right under here as well. There's tins right under here, which is fantastic. It's just somewhere else to store bits and pieces, because there isn't a massive amount of storage here, but that does make a huge difference. And I'll get out our sweet corn for our dinner later as well.
So we upgraded the engine. It's as standard 120 HP. We upgraded to 140 bhp. It's got a 9-speed automatic gearbox, which is excellent. We've gone for electric handbrake. Don't know why, but that sounded quite good to do. We've got quite a large centre bit with the radio, sat nav, etc, etc. The only thing I'm not sure about is the fact that it does say it should be compatible with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, although I haven't actually managed to suss that one out yet. So if anyone knows how to do that, then leave a comment. That'd be great, thank you. Chairs are really comfy. Again, we upgraded to leather chairs. Really pleased with these. Yeah, no, it's really good. As far as to go down for the night, it's nice and simple. Basically, with the front, just do that, and on the sides as well, it's just a case of drawing these across, and you're ready to go. Nice and simple.
So, 3 months in, what do we think of Henry?
We love it.
We do. We think he's absolutely fantastic. I would say you have to be very, very organised. There is not that much room, and you do need to know where everything is, and everything needs to have a place. Would you agree with that?
Yep, totally.
But we're used to camping, and we did do a trip down Africa as well for 10 months where everything was in labelled boxes, and we kind of learnt to be organised from that, really, didn't we?
Yes, well,
and
we
we're quite
needed to.
organised people,
Oh, we
anyway,
are.
aren't we? So.
Yes. Other than that, no, it's great. Cruises quite nicely at 70 miles an hour on the motorway. It is a little bit commercial, but at the end of the day, it is a commercial vehicle it's based on. So there are 1 or 2 rattles as you're driving along, but you've got to kind of get used to that.
And they've definitely got worse since we filled it with stuff as well, haven't they?
Yes, they have, yes.
Which is fair enough, really.
But in a way, there are rattles, and we need to do something about them.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's everything we hope for, really, isn't it?
It is, yes, and we've got lots of trips planned, which is always
have.
nice. And it does mean we were away last week for a couple of nights, and literally pack up, which takes half an hour at home, and that's all we need. We've got most of the things in the van anyway. You pack up half an hour, get to where you want to be, and immediately you're ready to...
Yeah. 5 minutes, you've plugged in, you've levelled up if you need to, and you're ready to roll, aren't you? Or ready to sleep, or whatever you need to do.
Exactly.
So we arrived here relatively late on Friday night, and it was not difficult at all.
No.
3 minutes later we were ready, weren't we? So
We were.
yeah, it was great. The only thing that does annoy me is this gas that keeps crashing, but I think it's just because we've got so much stuff in the back there.
Yeah.
And because the roads are very bumpy as well.
And if we know what it is, it's going to be easy to sort out, isn't it? So that shouldn't be a problem.
So we recommend Hymer Ayers Rock most definitely. So the other thing we did get on Henry was an awning, which the first couple of times we used him, we didn't use it at all, either because it was too windy or it was raining. But the last time we were in Bude and it was really hot and sunny, we did use it, and now we're going to show you how that works. So basically you're meant to support this edge while Roger's undoing it, because otherwise it ends up not having a bit too much weight, and then you have to push the legs in so that they release to come down. And then you have to just lock those into place like so. Yeah, mind your feet.
Should have moved the chairs, really, shouldn't I?
And it actually comes out quite a long way, and you can have it quite low as well, which is good because it does mean that it stops any rain. If you want to, you can stop any rain from coming in, or whatever you need. And that is the awning.
So one of the plans is to also get a couple of straps.
Tie-down straps.
Tie-down straps, and also some pegs for the bottom, just in case it's slightly windy. Then at least we've got that covered.
Good plan, good plan. So I have been volunteered by Roger to try out the shower in here. Now, as you can see, It's not exactly going to be spacious, but I have volunteered to try it out, and I will let you know how it goes. I did remember to take out the towels. I was very worried I was going to forget to take out the loo roll. There is a shower curtain that bizarrely goes across the mirror. Not too sure what that's for, but there you go. But I will come back to you shortly when hopefully I have managed to shower. Well, I survived. It actually wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be, and there was enough hot water, which was really good. It will certainly be very useful when we're going out into Scandinavia next year to know that we can at least have a warm shower. So thinking about the last video, we actually thought about the fact that there was a couple of other bits we wanted to tell you. And the first thing was we didn't go for a pop top. And we are so pleased that we didn't, because it does mean we've got 3 skylights in the roof. And it's been so hot recently that it's been lovely to be able to have the skylights open, which is fantastic, isn't it? It makes such a difference when you're trying to sleep to have some draft coming through, which is lovely. And
the fact they've all got mozzie nets as well is really useful, and the fact that nothing comes in. We've actually had a number of creatures just on the outside of the mozzie nets waiting to get in as soon as we open the mozzie nets, so that just shows they worked.
Yeah. The other thing we were going to say was we said about being organised, but I think the other thing is you do need to be quite tidy, don't you? So when you get something out, you do then need to put it away, because otherwise you end up with too much stuff out and there's never anywhere to put anything. There's not much in the way of work surface, if you know what I mean. So you do have to be quite organised and tidy, not just organised.
Yes. The other thing is the size of Henry. Obviously we've spoken about the inside. It is compact, shall we say, but outside it's 5.9 metres, which
5.4 metres.
5.4 metres, sorry, yes it is, 5.4 metres, which is perfect for us. We've got quite a bit, we've done less than 1,000 miles so far. We've already got quite a bit of vegetation rash, whereby we've gone very closest to hedges and things. But that's the thing, we live in Cornwall, all the roads, or most of the roads are very, very narrow around there, and we couldn't really have anything bigger. It's perfect for us, for the types of roads that we do. Size-wise, we wouldn't really want anything much bigger, would we?
No. Where we live at the moment, we couldn't really have a bigger motorhome at all, could we?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So, Henry, was it worth a 2.5-year wait? Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Are we pleased with the colour? We originally ordered red.
Yeah, we did.
When we ordered it 2.5 years ago, red was certainly on the list, but unfortunately they no longer do red, so we went for grey. A bit worried that it might look like an Amazon van. But no, we're quite pleased with it in the end.
Yeah, we're delighted. And actually, it's also one of the few who is grey and not white, which is quite nice as well.
Yep. So yeah, highly recommend it.
Definitely.